How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good.
So when they come to you and say, right, it's a fun, flashy striker versus striker matchup, you're probably like, okay, I'm down with that. But when they say it's at a different weight class, is there any hesitation, or do you think, no, I'm looking forward to side quest. We can have fun with this one?
No, to be fair, it was me that called it out in the first place. So when I called it out, I wasn't asking him to move. I was saying, because I was doing the jiu-jitsu competition, Polaris, at the time, I was like, I'm at your weight now, so we can do it. So I knew I was going to be doing it at that weight if it was to happen. So yeah, there was never going to be an issue for me.
Nice. How is the weight feeling? Obviously, fight week, usually at this point you're probably cutting weight. How does it feel to be walking around right now knowing you can fight at this sort of weight?
Keep forgetting I'm fighting, because it's just, yeah, that's usually the big stress this week. I kind of enjoy the media stuff, but the stressful part is just you physically feel drained, but not at all. Obviously, I still have to do a cut, but it's just not in the same stress levels at all.
Do you feel like there's a chance you could perform so well on Saturday that this might be the new home, or you think, no, 170 is that's my best rate?
No, even if I could perform exceptionally, I've just got things that I want to get done at welterweight. So that's more or less a personal thing. Maybe I come back, or maybe there's another exciting fight for me to have. So then, I might see me bounce around. But the goal is the welterweight strap. So the focus is going to be there.
Let's talk about his style versus your style, right? He has a flashy knockout highlight reel and all that sort of stuff, but I would argue that his is still a bit more traditional MMA style than yours is. Do you look at him in the same way and think he thinks he's flashy until we're both in there, and then he's going to realize there are levels to unique striking ability?
Yeah, I guess he's definitely a lot more flashy than your conventional in MMA, but yeah, I do take it to the extreme, and it's a very weird style. His style is a bit more closer to the striking you would see anyway, which is why I kind of said to myself that would be a good fight and why I wanted to call it out. Because yeah, I've got such belief in my style, and I know it frustrates a lot of people, regardless of how talented they are in that area. So yeah, I definitely favor myself.
So you talk about frustrating them, right? I think a lot of guys go in there and go, this guy's it's not going to work on me. And then they get in there, and after the first round, they're a little confused. And then inevitably a takedown comes, right? Are you anticipating that eventually he's going to shoot for the takedown that he says he will never shoot for? You
know what, with him, I always say I think I can make any striker a wrestler, given enough time in front of them. But I do believe he's going to be stubborn enough to believe in himself. So even when it's going wrong, still be like, no, this has worked for me for my career, and dig deeper, trying to strike. So we'll see.
Both flashy guys. Open workout later today. Is there a little bit inside you that you're like, I've got to really bring the show to make sure mine's better than his? Or you're just like, nah, I'm getting out there, getting food and going home?
It's my first one doing it. And to be fair, I thought it was going to be a press conference again. And I was like, I know it's going to be an open workout. And it's just cool to be a part of and kind of tick the bar. I forgot that these things even happen. So I didn't really think of it that I'm just going to have fun up there, just enjoy myself, enjoy the moment for myself. The most important thing is the fight. It doesn't really matter what I do on the stage.
Nice. And last one for me. Look, I know you said you had goals at 170. I don't know if you want to share them, but if you can share a few of those plans in your future at that weight.
Yeah, to be fair, I just feel like the welterweight division at the moment, it's a bit broken in terms of all the guys that you would normally, you'd put your money on to win, and a lot of them are losing. There's a shift going on in that division, and I don't feel like the belt is secured in anybody's hands, which is a great time to attack for the belt. So that's my goal. Whatever steps on whoever that means that I need to fight to get there, that's what I'm going to do.
Michael. Hello. Майкл тебя по праву считают одним из самых креативных бойцов планеты, но вот Шара Буллет, его называют таким же. Как ты оценишь его прошлый двойной бэкфист, как тебе этот нокаут?
You're well-deservedly called one of the most creative strikers in the world, but for Shara, similarly, he's called that as well. And the last fight, the way he finished against Petrosian with a double spinning back fist, how would you rate that?
Oh, that was a 10 out of 10. The thing is, I always say this before anything, I'm a fan first, no matter what it is. Like, even though I'm in the sport, even though I'm a competitor and competing at a high level, I'm a fan first. And I'll never knock anybody if I see something exceptional. That was an exceptional strike. Also, when you look at his fighting ability and his fighting videos from prior, even in the kickboxing, it's something that he does. It wasn't by luck, it wasn't by chance. He's very talented in that area. He's planned those things. And even for the same with me. A lot of the skillful, crazy, creative things are practice. It's not just, it looks like it's a spur of the moment thing, but a lot of it is practiced. So it shows you how exceptional he is as a striker.
Да, 10 из 10 точно, но я не против сказать, что он отличный боец, что он очень фееричный боец, очень интересный. Дело в том, что оно выглядело, может быть, как будто бы он просто вытянул это из откуда-то непонятно откуда, но по-настоящему, если посмотреть за ним, если посмотреть видео, которое он раньше выставлял, он это тренировал, он знает этот прием, он ждал его, он готовил его. Точно так же, как и со мной. Очень часто говорят, что как бы я вроде бы посередине матча что-то выдумываю, оно выглядит, как будто бы оно ниоткуда. Но по-настоящему вся такая техника, все такие приемы, они долго-долго нарабатываются. Поэтому, да, по нему было видно, что он это заготовил, и это сработало.
Учитывая ваши бойцовские стили, о которых мы только что поговорили, можно ли с уверенностью сказать, что бой точно не дойдет до судейского решения?
If you take both of your flashy styles in consideration, the styles we just talked about, can we think that this fight is definitely not going to distance?
That's the plan. I think it would be the same thing for him. Neither. I think every competitor, even if they were a jiu-jitsu guy or a wrestler, their highlights are always going to be that big knockout, you know. So for strikers, that is definitely the number one game plan. Yeah, 100% we're going to try and kill each other.
100% в этом и есть весь геймплан, чтобы оно не продлилось. Но на какого бойца бы ты ни посмотрел, все равно у них, даже если это боец джиу-джитсу, видно только по хайлайтам, видно только то, что они сделали, как они финишировали кого-то. Поэтому для нас, абсолютно для страйкеров, обязательно план закончить бой фееричным, хорошим нокаутом досрочно.
Твое последнее поражение было от Иана Мачадо Гэри. Сейчас он проиграл Шавкату Рахмонову. Как тебе их бой и как ты думаешь о перспективах Шавката, потому что бой был претендентским?
The last loss for you was Ian Gary, and now he lost to Shavkat Rakhmonov. Now, what do you think about that fight, the way they had their fight? Was it competitive?
Shavkat didn't look at his best at all. Ian Gary, I feel like, could have performed better. I think both of them underperformed. But maybe, and my guess potentially is because they've trained together before, they're familiar with each other, they knew where each other is most dangerous, so it made them extra cautious in the fight. It was still a good, entertaining fight to watch, but technically I think both of them made a lot of mistakes and could have done a little bit more to really, you know, solidify their win a bit more clearly. But still a good fight.
Это был нормальный бой, но, честно сказать, понятно было видно, что Шавкат очень аккуратничал, Иан Гэри тоже не выступал так, как он обычно выступает. Наверное, потому что они раньше до этого тренировались вместе и знают друг друга сильные стороны, поэтому оба слегка аккуратничали. Было понятно, что, может быть, кто-то из них, если бы поднажал, то выступил бы лучше. Но, в принципе, достаточно интересный бой был, было приятно за ним следить, но понятно было, что они оба как-то чуть-чуть сторонились друг друга.
Шавкат or Bilal Muhammad, still or and new?
For me, it's going to be Bilal Muhammad and still. Yeah, because even before Shavkat had beaten that contenders fight to go into to get in the belt, I was asked this question, and I just think stylistically, people underestimate Bilal a lot, and his whole career, step by step, he's gotten better and better and better. I definitely believe he will show people why he's got the belt at the moment.
Шавкат все еще чемпион, потому что, Беляль все еще чемпион, потому что даже до того, как у него был этот претендентский бой, перед тем, как он выиграл чемпионство, меня спрашивали этот вопрос, и я следил за его карьерой, было видно, что его техника, его усердие, так как он ведет бои, это абсолютно другой уровень, поэтому мне кажется, что это будет end still.
И последнее от меня. Шарапудина Магомедова спросили о его перспективах на ближайшее время. Он сказал 2-3 боя, и я буду драться за титул. А есть ли у тебя титульные амбиции? Потому что 37 лет – это все равно для бойца ММА очень серьезный возраст, и обычно по статистике после 35 титул редко завоевывают.
Shara was asked about what his plans are in the near future, and he said 2, 3, 4 fights max, and I'm going to go for the belt. For you, what is the perspective for you in the fight game? You're 37 years old. It's not often that we see people after 35 gaining a championship status. So what are your goals for now?
I think very similar. The reason I wanted this fight so early in the year is so I could be competitive regularly throughout the whole year. If all goes well, inshallah, I feel like, again, early win. It means I can come back as quickly as possible. And just go again and go again. So 3 fights, maybe 2 fights. And like I said, because there's a lot of moving parts in the welterweight division, as long as you're being competitive and winning, it could be 1 fight and you're already you're competing. And I'm ready to be there.
Похожие планы, ты знаешь, потому что я именно поэтому запросил этот бой так рано в году, потому что идея в том, что если ты остаешься здоровым, дай бог, то ты можешь сражаться как можно больше, 2-3 раза. Для меня это такие же планы, может быть 2 боя, может быть 3, ну даже если все хорошо пройдет, это иногда может быть 1 раз, потому что в моем дивизионе очень много всего двигается сейчас, и из-за этого одно хорошее выступление может тебя уже закинуть туда в титульную гонку, поэтому идея в том, что оставаться здоровым, сражаться как можно больше и с меньшим количеством боев добраться до титула.
Майкл, добрый день. Сказали о том, что любого бойца, который стоит напротив вас, можете заставить бороться, если он определенное количество времени проведет против вас. А не кажется ли, что если Шара полезет бороться, намного больше проблем может быть? Потому что, ну, как ни крути, он все равно с Дагестана, несмотря на то, что у него там техника, там тайский бокс и так далее, все равно он с Дагестана, он имеет представление о борьбе, и так или иначе, возможно, там, в каких-то тренировках он все равно там какое-то внимание уделяет. Спасибо.
You said that any fighter standing in front of you eventually becomes a wrestler, right? You said you can pretty much make anybody wrestle. Are you cautious at all in any way that if Shara becomes a wrestler, being from Dagestan, you know, he's still got that Dagestani wrestler background, even though he's known as a striker, but he is from there, he's made in the same place where all those great wrestlers were made. So is that more problems for you, him becoming a wrestler against you?
I'm only going to say no, for 2 reasons. One, personally, since my journey, I feel like a lot of things has clicked for me, and it happened to me in my kickboxing career as well, where I was doing okay, I wasn't quite doing right, and then something just landed, and then I was going into flow state. It was different, and I feel like a similar thing is happening with the jiu-jitsu for me. Obviously, I focused on jiu-jitsu just before coming to this fight, so I feel confident in myself to be able to kind of perform the way I want to perform during a fight. And secondly, MMA is a very small world, a very, very small world. And I hear he doesn't really like doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling. He really enjoys and maybe neglects a little bit of his jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So I'm definitely confident if he decides to go there, it's going to be even more of a problem for him.
Я скажу нет по 2 причинам. Первая причина заключается в том, что для меня в моей карьере, вообще в моем пути в боях, что-то все время как-то случалось так, что оно кликнуло. В какой-то момент оно кликнуло, и я понял, что я нахожусь в определенной среде, которая моя. И дальше я уже работаю как на автопилоте. Какие-то вещи получаются, даже не думая об этом. И то же самое произошло с джиу-джитсу. Это то, на чем я концентрировался до этого боя. И я дошел до такой позиции, где я уже не задумываюсь о том, что я делаю, оно получается автоматически. Да? То есть я себя чувствую хорошо в этом. Это, во-первых. Во-вторых, сам мир ММА, он достаточно маленький, поэтому все друг друга как бы знают, все о друг друге что-то знают. И из того, что я слышал, из того, что я знаю, это то, что он не любит джиу-джитсу, он не любит борьбу. Поэтому мне кажется, что моих навыках будет значительно больше, и ему там будет неудобно со мной.
Вот, вдогонку вопрос по поводу борьбы. Вот он сам не раз говорил о том, что он не будет бороться, а наоборот считает, что, скорее всего, Шара полезет бороться. Спрашивали у Шары, Шара говорит наоборот. Как бы тут непонятная ситуация. А интересно, он готов ли поставить свой гонорар на то, что он не полезет бороться?
So, again, a question about wrestling. You've been asked about that. You said you make people wrestlers. You said that Shara is going to be the first one to shoot a takedown. And if you ask Shara the same question, and he has been asked the same question, he said, oh, I make everybody a wrestler as well. And he's saying that you're going to be the first one to shoot the takedown. So the question is, are you willing to bet your entire purse on the fact that you will not shoot a takedown first?
The thing is, when I said it, I wasn't talking about who was going to do it first. I was simply saying I can make him do it. I'm happy to shoot a takedown. This is an MMA game, so I'm happy to do it. And I've been working on, that area, but I just don't feel I'll need to. There's a difference. I may get to a point where I feel like, it might be worth draining them out on the floor a little bit, landing some shots, elbows on the floor. So I may do that. But I don't think I'm going to need to. Whereas I think if he shoots a takedown, it'd be for completely different reasons. If I do it, it's just part of my game plan. If he does it, he's in danger. So that's the difference.
Вопрос не в том, кто из нас первый попробует другого перевести. Вопрос в том, что кто превратится в рестлера и почему, да, то есть я, может быть, даже и не против быть первым, кто его переведет, после этого, может быть, нанесет какой-то урон, может быть, его каким-то образом попытается, чтобы он утомился чуть-чуть, а после этого опять встать на ноги и закончить его, да, то есть у меня это часть геймплана, а про него я говорил, что ему придется это делать для того, чтобы спасаться. Вот в этом разница, в том, что я могу любого заставить это делать для того, чтобы каким-то образом улучшить для себя бой. Для меня это не нужно, это не важно, я могу это сделать просто для того, чтобы в свою сторону геймплана повести курс боя.
Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Hi.
Sorry. How are you?
How you doing?
Tarek from Stars Play. Couple of questions for you. First of all, we believe congratulations are in order. Recently married man.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mabruk,
My wife
mabruk.
over there as well.
Alf Mabruk. Kind of an important question. You see, generally speaking, with the Dagestani/Russian fighters that we get here, it is kind of a home crowd for them. How have you found the reception being, I don't want to say enemy territory because everyone's always welcome in the Middle East, but how have you felt that reception, knowing that it's going to be a Shara-heavy crowd?
To be fair, I think I've been in the game a long time. I get a lot of respect for just what I've done in the game, and it shows when I've come here. I haven't had a chance to really meet the fans over here. I guess maybe when we do the open workout and face off, and then we get to the actual fight day, I might get a sense of what it's like. But for me, I've been in enemy territory many times, and what I like to do when in that scenario is change everybody's opinion, because I've walked into crowds of booing before and left with crowds of cheers, so that never phases me.
One more for me, Michael. You're likely to go through, or have to go through, Leon Edwards to get to Bilal. How do you feel about having to face off another British fighter in the cage?
Well, this is another one that I've been calling out. So, a fight that I said, had Ian Gary fight gone my way, had he kept his belt, I felt it would have been a great fight for us to have in the UK for the belt. It may not be for the belt this time, but I still think it's going to be a great fight to be had in the UK. I'd only accept that fight in the UK. I think it'll be a travesty to take it away from our UK crowd. But it's definitely a fight I look forward to.
Last one from me, Michael. What's the chances you end up on an unnamed reality TV show? Given what's gone on in your personal life recently.
Nah, I don't think my missus will want to be exposed to all of that nonsense. So for me, it's a no.
Thanks, Michael. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Майкл, хай. Шара Буллет известен своей техникой, аналогов которой как будто бы сложно встретить в ММА. У тебя есть, очевидно, опыт, которого нет у Шара Буллета. Вопрос такой: считаешь ли ты себя самым серьезным соперником в карьере Шары, и считаешь ли ты, что встретишься с бойцом, с техникой которого не встречался прежде?
Shara Bullet is known for his very unorthodox striking, very different, something that not a lot of people have ever seen. You have a load of experience. You've seen all sorts of different strikers in front of you. Do you think that you will be the hardest striker, the hardest matchup that he's ever had in his career? And are you expecting any kind of technique from him that you've never seen before?
No, I'm very, not just myself, I'd say my team. They're scientific when it comes to analyzing opponents. And one thing my coach says, and has said to me multiple times throughout this whole camp, is you've seen him thousands of times before. He does a few flamboyant things, but it's the same thing. And then there's certain patterns to what he does as well. So there's nothing to worry about. I get why other people are wowed by it, and I understand his kind of star quality, and I appreciate that. But he's never stood in front of anything as confusing as me.
Нет, знаешь, у меня команда, которая разбирает все просто до деталей, просто как ученые, как будто бы. И моя команда, мои тренера мне все время повторяют, что ты видел это, ты знаешь это, ты был напротив такого ударника много-много раз. Да, он делает какие-то финты, какие-то выкрутасы, иногда что-то получается, но в принципе у него есть такие как бы паттерны, да, такие вещи, которые он делает все время, повторяет, чуть-чуть отходит, опять повторяет. То есть мы это видели, мы это знаем, мы к этому готовы, и поэтому я понимаю, почему для других людей, для других бойцов это становится тем, что они никогда не видели, и для них это как будто бы вау. Но в принципе я это видел много-много раз, я это понимаю, и поэтому ничего нового не думаю, что замечу.
Michael, just circling back to the Leon and Jack fight, is that something that you're really taking strong notice of, the result of that one?
To be fair, it's not really about the result. Obviously, I'm going to be tuned in, and I want to be there as well. But again, as a fan, I just think it's a great fight. It's going to be a close fight. I think it's going to be a bit more of a slow-paced fight, looking at both their styles. But yeah, it's whoever makes it through to the next round, so to speak, is the person I'll probably pay a little bit more attention to. And then unless I'm paired with the other person, then I'll pay a bit more attention to that person. But for me, I'm just, as a fan, just enjoying it.
Okay. And from an Australian perspective, what are your thoughts on Jack in the division?
Oh, he's great. Like I literally, his style he's hard to pin down. He's so scrambly. He's got very disciplined striking. He's the kind of person that would take a lot of work to frustrate because he's very composed, doesn't waste too much. And yeah, it's just a good fighter.
And you saw how he kind of got up and in on Kevin Holland. Is that something that if you came up against him that you'd really need to kind of take into consideration when you fight someone like Jack?
Again, it's just different styles. It's I'd say, just because of how we fight, it'd be slightly easier for him to get close to Kevin, and it'd be a lot more difficult for him to do exactly the same thing to me. But yeah, would we have to game plan the hell out of our camp? Yeah, 100%.
That's right.
Майкл, hello. В главном бою также в среднем весе будет биться Адесanya против Имавова, возможно, твои потенциально будущие оппоненты. Как бы ты оценил их шансы в противостоянии друг с другом?
In the main event, there's going to be Adesanya versus Imavov. Potentially, if you stay in middleweight or come back to middleweight, they'll be your future opponents. How would you rate their chances against one another?
So again, for me, I'd only really do super fights middleweight because unless my focus changes at welterweight, but my focus is welterweight. So if there is an exciting fight like a Shara Bullet fight, then yeah, I may fight. But for now, let's just see this as a one-off. But I keep saying this about Izzy. He seems re-inspired, and it's very difficult to do once you've made it so high and then you fall. A lot of people struggle to kind of build that momentum back and build that want and fire to climb back up that ladder again. But speaking to him, speaking to the team, he's been changing a few things around and adjusting his training quite dramatically, actually, which shows motivation. A lot of times, you get to a certain point, you're like, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing again and, hope for the best. But it shows how motivated he is in wanting to adjust things. So, I'd never put my money against Izzy. That's my boy.
Ну, во-первых, я должен сказать, что если я останусь в среднем весе, то это будут только какие-то супер бои, да, то есть я говорю, что это один раз я сюда пошел, потому что есть такой бой против Шары, и это достаточно громкий бой, громкое имя, известное, поэтому для меня это интересно, но если я буду здесь оставаться, продолжаться биться, это не будет со всеми подряд в среднем весе, это будет кто-то очень определенный. А насчет боя, о котором ты говоришь, просто если проговорить про нем как фанат, то смотри, я говорил с Изи, он мой знакомый, я с ним говорил, я говорил с его командой, и я вижу в нем новую мотивацию, я вижу, что он перезарядился, перевдохновился. Это очень сложно сделать, когда ты был на самой-самой вершине, а потом потихонечку начинаешь скатываться вниз, и опять найти вот эту мотивацию, опять найти это вдохновение, это очень сложно. Поэтому он выглядит сейчас из того, что я вижу, из тех людей, с которыми я общался в его лагере, я вижу, что он заново какие-то вещи изменил, какие-то вещи добавил. Обычно, если у тебя что-то получается долгое время, ты говоришь, я буду возвращаться к этому, это та техника, которая работает. А у него видно, что он находит новые техники, находит новые способы. Это очень сложно сделать, и поэтому я ни в коем случае не поставлю против него. Он мой приятель, я за Изи.
Вот многие фанаты как раз долгое время мечтали увидеть противостояние Майкла Венома Пейджа против Адесании, но сейчас ты дерешься с Шарой Буллетом. Но если представить, то какое из этих двух противостояний ты считаешь получилось бы более ярким, если бы ты бился с Адесанией или с предстоящий бой с Шарой Буллетом?
A long time the fans have been dreaming of a dream matchup for Easy versus Venom Page. So, right now we got, you fighting versus Shara. If you think about your fight with Shara versus your potential fight with Easy, what do you think would be a more exciting fight for the fans?
I guess me and Izzy would be, in terms of names and the kind of brand that we've built for ourselves, that would be the most exciting fight. Whether that would happen, I'm going to say no. Like I said, that's my boy. It's almost like sparring or fighting a training partner. Just very unlikely to happen. Unless the UFC want to fork out a lot of money, because we are both prize fighters and it'll have to be a bit life-changing. So then if that's the case, I'm sure we can have it. But if it's dependent on how much they want it. But in general, that's not a fight I'd ever look to.
Если посудить по нашим именам, по нашим карьерам, по тому количеству фанатов, которые у нас есть, то, наверное, конечно, все-таки мой бой с Адесанией был бы значительно более громким, звонким, более интересным. Но если ты спросишь меня, произойдет ли этот бой, то нет. Я тебе могу сказать, что этого боя не будет. Я уже сказал, что он мой приятель, во-первых. Во-вторых, мы настолько близки, это будет все равно, что тебе бы сказали драться против кого-то одного из твоих спарринг-партнеров. Да, если только, конечно же, деньги свое дело делают, если нам вдруг предложат какую-то такую невероятную сумму, которая может изменить нашу жизнь, тогда посмотрим, может быть, конечно, может быть, мы согласимся на такие деньги, но это UFC должно этого захотеть и должно будет дать нам такую кучу денег, если нет, то никогда в жизни я с ним биться не буду.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey man, how are you doing?
Good.
Listen, Shara has the very unique fighting style like you, and the question is, how hard was to find the sparring partners for this fight?
We've got, again, I'd have to say, one thing that UK has always been quite good at is kickboxing, striking. So we've got a lot of great boxers, we've got a lot of great kickboxers in the UK. So finding someone that's a bit flamboyant wasn't actually that difficult. We had quite a few people that are tough guys come to the gym to do sparring with, which was great for me. I got beaten up a lot, but that's the best time to get beaten up, so you can make the mistakes in the gym and then correct them for what's coming Saturday. So no, it wasn't too difficult to find people that could replicate the style. And because I say my influence on my gym has been my style. So a lot of my teammates have a light bounce to their style as well. So there's a lot of guys in the gym that naturally have a bit of flamboyance to them, which was, I guess, my gift to the gym as well, which is now come back to repay me.
Shara had a conversation with Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Khabib told him that to pay serious attention to you, not to be relaxed, because you are the real deal. What was your reaction to his words?
I didn't even hear about that, but yes, Khabib. It's for me, literally, it's always nice to hear people that are established. You never know who's watching. I don't know who's watching. And, as I have grown in my career, I know there's a lot of people, that have high levels, whether in and out of the cage, celebrities that show appreciation. But in the fight game, you just never know who's watching or who appreciates you. So to hear that is, again, massive respect from the legend. So, yeah, I'm happy.
They're asking for a translation. Он говорит, что да, Кhabib, спасибо за это. Ты никогда не знаешь, кто смотрит, кто слушает это. И получить такую похвалу от такой легенды, как Кhabib Нурмагомедов, это очень многое значит, потому что, в принципе, бывает такое, что написывают какие-то известные люди, селебрити и так далее, но кто смотрит это внутри игры, и те люди, которые заслуженные, и те люди, от которых ты хочешь слушать эту похвалу, ты никогда не знаешь, кто это. И то, что прилетает вот такие вот комментарии от такой легенды, как Кhabib, это очень много стоит.
As we all are big MMA fans, and could we expect the real Mortal Kombat fights?
Like, I'm hoping for the real Mortal Kombat fight, and as long as I end up with the finishing move, it's perfect.
And the last one from me, please. Normally, as we know, the pirates stealing something from the other people. Are the plan is to steal something from the pirate?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make that pirate walk the plank, 100%.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Michael.
Hello.
My question for you is that you're known for your unorthodox striking and flair for showmanship. If you had to choreograph a fight scene for a blockbuster action movie, who would you want to choreograph, like the actor? And what would be the epic finishing move?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, Keanu Reeves, he's definitely a person I'd have in there. But I have to bring back some of the old school guys like the Jackie Chans, the Jet Lis, the Donnie Yens. These are the guys that I grew up on, kung fu movies that I've grown up on, and I could still to this day watch all of their movies and just be stuck to the screen the whole way through. So it'd have to be those guys, and I'd have to let someone like Sammo Hung do the choreography, and I'm sure it'd be amazing.